Yeah, there's an element of Toni Morrison's Beloved and Alice Walker and Mama Day, all of those characters from these other prolific African American women writers.
Mm.
Obeah Woman is right in there with Mama Day and Beloved, my opinion, having read all
Okay.
those books.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
we're gonna buy the IBJ is going to buy some copies of your mother's book. It is available on Amazon, and
Yes,
we're
it
gonna
is.
make those
Yes.
available throughout the holy days for people
Yes.
who maybe for the first 25 people that send us a message on our Facebook page, we'll send you a copy of the book. How's that sound?
Uh, that would be great, especially during this Kwanzaa season. That's what's up. Thank you.
The Obeah Woman by Anastasia the Phoenix Armorer. Chapter 8. Dora had driven miles on her way south to San Fernando, but before continuing to the swamp, she must stop first at the Motong, the place where her clan mother and clan sisters meet. A large circular building, deep in the backwoods of the forest. Dora parked her truck under a mango tree, and walked up a short incline toward the building, which was hidden by large trees. The ground was covered with moss and large dead leaves. She walked up the stone steps, pushed the door open, and went inside. The building was well lit with large candles everywhere. There were large African carvings of woman warriors, and ancient goddesses. As she entered the building, Dora was greeted by a beautiful East Indian woman. "Welcome, my sister." The tall woman walked over and embraced her. "Hello Isis, how are you? I'm here to see Mother, how is she?" "Oh, we are both just fine as always. We have been waiting for you." Isis led the way into one of the meeting rooms. There, the other sisters, who were Obeah women, from different parts of Trinidad, were seated at a large table. As Dora walked in, they all stood in respect for her. Then, she and Isis took their places at the table. "This is the clan of the Black Leopard, and their leader is Shasana, a beautiful, dark Egyptian woman." She smiled warmly at Dora. "Hello Mother, hello my sisters," said Dora as she took her seat. "Hello, my daughter. We came together to support you. This night has been foreseen a long time ago, and your sisters and I are here to give you of our strength, so that you will be strong for the great battle ahead of you. Your path has become one with Kokaka's, you must fight her, and you must destroy her." Dora looked at her clan mother in disbelief. "Destroy her?" she asked. "Yes, destroy her. I know that you have battled with her for a long time, but the time now is crucial. If you do not destroy her, she will destroy you." Dora remained silent as the clan mother waited for her to speak. "Dora, there is more to this than you know. It's not just Kokaka. She is just a pawn in a much larger game. Do you know who Kokaka serves?" "Yes, she serves Nahima, the beautiful demon of impurity," answered Dora. "That is the past. We know that Niama seduced Kokaka with her beauty and promised to impart some of that beauty to her. We both know how vain Kokaka is, but instead of giving her more beauty, Nahima stole Kokaka's beauty and left her a horrible crone. Now, what you don't know, Dora, is that 1 year ago, Kokaka became a bride of Samuel, or as he is called by many, Samuel the Black." Dora stood to her feet and stared at the clan mother in disbelief. "That is incredible. I was studying about Samuel earlier today. I had no idea he was here." "Yes, he is here, and he has married Kokaka. We don't know why yet, but it must be for a very good reason." "What does this have to do with me?" asked Dora. "This whole affair with Shanka is a clever trap, set up just to trap you. The child Jessie was taken to draw you into a battle with Kokaka. If you lose, you and the child will be lost to us." Dora sat again in her chair, she could hardly believe her ears. "Dora, this is a battle that you must win, for the child and for yourself. Unfortunately, we cannot help you. If we do, then it will be upon us to pay the debt of the contract, which means, Kokaka could demand anything from us as payment. The clan mother's face was serious, as she looked deep into Dora's eyes across the table as she continued to speak. Dora, it is you that Samuel wants, and he is using Kokaka to set a trap for you. But why? Why does he want me? We don't know why as of yet. We only know that he would do anything to get you under his control. The clan mother stopped speaking so that Dora could take in her words. After a few moments of silence, Dora spoke. So, this is my fight. I must do it alone. In that case, I bid you all a good night. Dora rose from her chair and left the room. Isis followed her out of the building. Dora, I know you can do this. I have faith in you, said Isis as she walked with Dora down the path to her truck. Thank you, Isis. I appreciate that. Now, I must go. A little boy is waiting. Dora then left, and headed south. The night was dark and cold. The words of the clan mother stayed on her mind. The question of the moment was, what did Samuel want with her? However, she had to stay focused on Jesse, on getting him home to his mother safely. This is the task at hand, all else can wait. Dora drove for miles to get to the San Fernando swamp. Her uncle Malingo and her cousin Clara along with her husband Herbert lives on the far side of the swamp. She will go there and rest for a short while, as she prepares to meet with Kokaka at midnight. Dora arrived at the house to find Clara alone at home. Her uncle Malingo and Herbert had gone fishing, they will be gone all night. Clara prepared a special herbal bath for Dora, which not only cleans her body, but also relaxed her mind as well. After her bath, Dora ate a good meal, then, she began to prepare her mind for the battle ahead. Dora sat outside the house, focusing her mind by gazing at the moon. Clara came and sat next to her. In her hand, she carried a bundle of sage in which she gave to Dora. They then lit the sage, and smudged each other with the smoke. The two women sat again, and Dora continued to focus on the moon, while Clara filled a small pipe with tobacco. The swamp is so large, finding Niama's cave in the dark is not going to be easy, said Dora. You know the scent of the boy, don't you? Yes, I do. Well, it is time to release your animal spirit. You will be able to find the cave where the child is in. The two women went into the house, as Dora prepared to release the animal spirit within her. Clara placed a large oblong shell of incense on the floor in front of Dora, who was seated with her legs tucked beneath her hands resting lightly on her thighs. Clara sat opposite her chanting and beating on a drum. Dora's body began to sway to the rhythm of the drum. Then, after a few minutes, she could feel herself emerging from her body. Dora left her body in the form of a large panther. She ran outside and began to sniff the air. Within seconds, she had the child's scent. She took off into the swamp. She saw the night creatures busy doing their thing. Eat or be eaten, kill or be killed. It is the savage code of life, but it also keeps the planet in balance. Dora moved through the swamp among the mango trees, following Jesse's scent. When suddenly, she came upon Abby, one of Kokaka's apprentices. She was catching frogs and putting them in a covered basket. Dora remained still behind a tree. She did not know if the woman had any special vision. After Abby had filled her basket, she placed it on her head, and carried a lantern in her hand. She walked through the thick undergrowth with ease. She soon came to a large cave which was hidden by very large trees. The cave was guarded by many evil spirits as well as wild dogs. Dora could not get any closer, so she decided to watch the cave from a distance for a while. She could hear the child, Jesse, still crying. His cries disturbed Dora and she immediately returned to her body. What happened? Clara asked excited. Well, I found the cave, and boy, is it guarded. But, now you know where it is, and that's a start. Clara's words were reassuring, but Dora knew it would be difficult. I have no choice, I have to fight Kokaka for Jesse, and there is no other way. If I tried to steal him, I would probably get him hurt or killed. I can't risk that. I promised his mother that I would return him alive and well, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. Dora was determined to keep her promise to Gloria. I'm going to need the help of Shango, the god of thunder and lightning. Will you help me to raise his spirit? Dora and Clara were children of the Orisha Shango and have worshipped him together in the past. Of course, let's go out to the backyard. Clara led Dora out to the fire pit in the backyard, where the women built a fire. They burned fresh herbs as they sang and danced around the fire. Clara then brought Dora a young white rooster. Dora danced with the chicken, holding it high in the air. Then, the chicken was killed and placed on the fire. Dora then prayed to Shango that he would give her of his strength and increase her power of transformation. Soon, the ceremony was over, and Dora was ready to meet Kokaka. Dora concentrated her magic to make her body light as a feather. She was then able to lift herself, bodily, through the air and float up. Flawlessly she flew off into the swamp. The moon was her lantern, as she flew above the trees in a direct line to Kokaka's cave. Night creatures flew around her as she floated over the swamp. Soon she could see the large trees that hid the cave. She floated over to them, and lowered herself down in the clearing, about 10 yards away. The evil presence in this place was overwhelming. The demon spirits and wild dogs spotted her. She was immediately encircled by them. The spirits were screaming, spitting, and cursing at her. The dogs barked and growled, showing their sharp fangs. But they could not touch Dora, and she was not afraid of them. She stood her ground and waited for Kokaka. Then suddenly, Abby came out of the cave, her long black hair blowing in the wind. The dogs and spirits stopped circling Dora, and made way for Abby. My queen says, you come to the cave with me. Abby pointed to the large cave behind her. The demons crowded in behind Dora, pushing and shoving at each other. You tell Kokaka that if she wants to see me, she must come out here, said Dora, standing her ground. My queen says, you come now. Abby pointed again to the cave. Dora said nothing, she simply folded her arms and stood her ground. The demons were howling, screaming and scratching at each other. Stop! Abby screamed at them. My queen, she come. The demons flew off to the cave as Kokaka came out. She wore a long black dress and her straw hair was covered with a black cloth. The demons groveled at her feet as she walked out of the cave. She is followed by 2 other apprentices. In her hand, she carried a sickle. So Dora, you are afraid to come into my cave? She chuckled, as she walked forward waving her sickle. Who's the one that is afraid, Kokaka? I am standing here alone, while you have 30 with you. Dora was cold and unafraid. Why are you here? Oh, let me see, you came for the child, didn't you? Dora did not respond. You're always sticking your neck out for these peasants, Dora. Be careful. One day you might stick it out too far. Kokaka waved her sickle in the air. I remember when you used to stick your neck out, Kokaka. That person is dead. She snapped at Dora. I happen to love the person I am now. No restrictions, no more thou shall nots, no more taxes and fees, no more skimming off 10% of my income. I am free, Dora, free, and I am queen. I no longer take orders, I give them. When I speak, others run to do my bidding. Can you say the same? She glared at Dora with eyes full of hate. How can you say that you're free? Look at yourself, Kokaka. Nahima has stolen your beauty, and she won't give it back. And now, you must answer to Samuel. He gives the orders, and you take them. Wake up, Kokaka. You are deluding yourself if you think you are free. Those words struck Kokaka to the core. Samuel is my king, you stupid bitch, and I am his queen. She snapped. His queen? What will it take for you to see that he is just using you? You're not his queen, Kopika, you're his slave, that's all, his slave. Enough now. She snapped. Shanka made a contract with me. The child is mine. Kopika's eyes glowed with hatred and determination. I came for Jesse, and I'm not leaving without him. Over my dead body, bitch. Kopika raised her sickle, and sent a bolt of lightning into Dora's chest. It lifted her off of the ground and sent her flying backwards 15 feet. I'm gonna kill you, bitch, and the child will still be mine. Kopika moved closer to Dora, while the demons screamed, clapping their hands and jumping with delight. Dora rose to her feet, raised her hands in the air and shouted out the name of Shango, Obeah Salila. All of a sudden, a bolt of lightning came out of the sky and struck Kopika on the head, knocking her to the ground. More bolts of lightning rained down on the demons and apprentices. They scattered in every direction and ran screaming off into the swamp. The lightning followed them as they disappeared into the night. Kopika stretched out her hand to the side. Form of a dragon, shouted Kopika. Immediately, she was transformed into a large black dragon. I am the phoenix, shouted Dora. Immediately, she was transformed into a large fiery bird. The black dragon flew up into the night sky and the phoenix followed her. The two creatures clawed and fought each other in the skies until they fell to the ground in exhaustion. They both reverted back into human form. Dora stood to her feet. Give it up, Kopika. You can't beat me. Give up the child and I will spare your life. Kopika stood to her feet. Form of a rhino, she shouted. Immediately, she was transformed into a large black rhino. I am a unicorn. Dora was transformed into a large white unicorn. Kopika came charging at Dora with incredible speed. The unicorn jumped over the rhino, and as her front legs hit the ground, her back legs landed a forceful blow to the hindquarters of the rhino, causing her to fall headfirst to the ground. The rhino quickly got up, and the two great beasts faced each other again. The rhino and the unicorn charged at each other with amazing speed. They crashed into each other with incredible force, wounding each other on opposite sides of the head. The unicorn reared up her front legs and brought them down hard on the neck of the rhino, which forced her to the ground. Then with her back legs, the unicorn kicked the fallen rhino in the back. The rhino scrambled to her feet and tried to run, but the unicorn pursued her, jumping on her back, forcing her to the ground again. Kopika refused to stay down, and the two great beasts faced each other again for a final charge. They both knew that this was it. They came charging at each other with all the speed that their tired bodies could muster. As they ran towards each other, the thunder of their hooves could be heard throughout the entire swamp. They crashed into each other, and the horn of the unicorn bored deep into the right eye of the rhino. The large beast howled in agony as she fell to the ground. She immediately reverted back to human form, and so did Dora. Dora picked up the sickle and placed it over the neck of Kopika, as she lay bleeding on the ground. I could cut off your head right now, Kopika. Your life, for Jesse's. Both women were panting from exhaustion. The child is yours, Kopika managed to say. You will not disturb Shanka and his family ever again. Dora pressed the back of the sickle into Kopika's neck. The contract is null and void. Kopika was defeated. It was over. Dora went into the cave to find the child. A demon jumped out to attack her, but she used the sickle to shoot a bolt of lightning, chasing it away. She moved deeper into the dark cave. She saw Jesse tied to a stake with his hands tied above his head. Dora ran over to him and cut him down. The child was near death. Dora held him in her arms, placing her hand on his forehead. Dora sent her own life force into the child's head, and then she placed her hand on his chest, sending her life force into his soul to strengthen him. The child opened his eyes. "Jesse? Jesse?" Dora called to him. "I want to go home," he cried. "I know. I'm here to take you home." Dora picked up the sobbing little boy, and took him out of the cave. Kokaka was seated on the ground with her hand covering her right eye, as Dora walked out of the cave. She walked over to her and looked down at the pitiful woman. "Come to your senses, Kokaka, come back to us." Kokaka looked up at Dora with one eye. "It's too late for me." "It's never too late, come back to us." With those last words, Dora took Jessie up into the air and floated off back to where she had left her truck. The child held tightly to Dora's neck, his little body was trembling with fear. "We're going home, Jessie. You will see your mommy and daddy and Granny Edna." "And Martin?" the child asked through his tears. "Yes, and Martin. They are all waiting for you at home." When Dora got to the truck, she took a blanket out of the back and wrapped Jessie in it. She then laid the child on the seat, and headed for home. It was a long drive home, and Dora drove without stopping. It was 4:45 a.m. when she drove the truck up to Shanka's house. Jessie was asleep beside her on the seat. She removed the blanket and took the small boy into her arms. Jessie woke up in fright. "No. No. No. Mommy!" he screamed. "It's all right, Jessie. It's me, Mother Dora." He looked at her and wept bitter tears. "I want my mommy. Please, I want my mommy." "Jessie, look at me." Dora placed her hand under the child's little chin and made him look into her eyes. "You have been with Mother Dora all this time. We went to the beach and played in the sand. You built a beautiful sand castle with your blue pail. We ate shrimp for lunch." "I like shrimp," Jessie said, looking deep into the eyes of Mother Dora. She had hypnotized him, and placed a pleasant memory in his mind. "We had a wonderful time, and now, Mother Dora has brought you back home." The little boy smiled up at Dora, his little eyes sparkled. "Now, let's go wake your mommy." Dora took Jessie out of the truck, and carried him to the front door. The door opened before she could knock. Shanka stood in the doorway. "Daddy." Jessie tumbled into his father's arms. "I built a castle, Daddy." Edna and Gloria came running into the living room. "Praise God," said Edna, as she embraced her grandson. Gloria grabbed a hold of her son and wept for joy. She then walked over to Dora and embraced her. "Thank you, Mother. Thank you so much." Shanka came over to embrace her. "How will I ever repay you?" he asked. "You can repay me by never doing this again." "Never, Mother, never again. Not for all the money in the world." "Well, I hope you've learned your lesson, Shanka." Dora said her goodbyes, and left Shanka's house. She was exhausted, and planned to spend the next few days at home.